So that's good.
Cool. Here we go live. Let me share my screen again. Cool. Welcome everyone to Layer 5's website meeting. Here we go live. Oh, yeah, I forgot to close the audio of live stream tab. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I'll start again. So welcome everyone to Layer 5's website meeting. Today is March 27th. And with that, we'll definitely follow our weekly Layer 5 tradition to welcome newcomers. So if you are joining this call for the first time and haven't introduced yet, feel free to unmute yourself and give a quick introduction. And if you have a topic to discuss, feel free to add it as an agenda in the meeting minutes. I'll quickly share the link of meeting minutes again in chat. So we have today Mr. Randy Lau. So hi, Randy, would like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Randy. I'm recently changing careers into development. And so I just got started with open source, and I was looking for something to do, first timer, and I found something on layer 5, and so I did one, and then I started to do the second one, which seemed to be straightforward, but then it turned into a little bit more than I expected from a PR standpoint. But it's been a great experience working with everybody and learning. And so I'm over here on the West Coast, so it's a little early for me, but I was curious about the meeting and on this whole process, so I wanted to join in and say hello.
Good morning. Oh, yeah, it is morning. I think it's technically morning for Randy. It's anyway, Randy, that's great. There have been a number of others who've joined this call from the West Coast, and it's been equally pleasantly surprising because it is so early. So it's really nice to have you on. It turns out one, you just, joining the layer 5 community and jumping in there was like, jackpot. So that's great. But it turns out, that flickering issue is, that's not the first PR on that subject. It's not the second or the third, I think. It's so in the best of ways, you've hooked in to a meaty item. So, congrats. Also, thanks for doing the introduction. It's always was always really difficult when you join a meeting like this for the first time, and then people turn around and say, "Tell us about yourself." Geez, what am I supposed to say? My favorite color is pink. Or what are you supposed to say? So that's great. That's great. I take it, have you been studying a bit as you've been transitioning focus, into more of a developer-centric focus? Has React been like? Are you finding Gatsby is reinforcing your focus, or is it not quite? Is React?
Yeah, it's this is my first time working with React, so it's really interesting learning this. How JavaScript and React are used in Gatsby, and the efficiencies from it being an SSG, and that was really interesting to learn about. So this has all been every day's a learning experience when you on this coding journey. And in addition to Git and everything like that, GitHub, luckily, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right or his full name, Nikhil, was helping me with my PR and was doing a lot of testing for my PR. that I missed, and it was really helpful, helping me find these things and helping me do this PR, because it started to definitely went into new areas that I haven't experienced before. So it's been, like I said, a good learning experience.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, it's actually I'll say this last thing, then it's the fact that you called out Git and then you called out separately GitHub, or you didn't just say one or the other, is you're already ahead of the game, because it's so easy to assume that GitHub represents or that they're one and the same, that they do the same thing, and one is an extension of the other, and so that's often. Yeah, it's often a point of confusion. So hopefully, I just pinged Nikhil, so hopefully he'll jump in and we can maybe chat on some particulars about what you've been focused on. So it's great. We have I'm not sure what's going on, if today's a holiday or something, because we have like half of the people that we normally have on. So Gaurav, we didn't miss something, did we? There's not we already had our time zone change. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But looks like we got Mr. Singh, Abhishek Singh. Is that there's a bunch of Abhishek Singhs here. So I'm not. Did you just join the community as well?
Yes.
Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, good. Did you want to just introduce yourself a bit?
Yes. Hello to all. I'm Abhishek. I love to code, and I'm here to explore the open source world. And I have knowledge of Munstack development.
Oh, you're yeah, good. Oh, it's nice to have you.
Yes.
That's great. Welcome to the committee, Abhishek.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Cool. I don't think we have more newcomers, so I'll just quickly start off with agenda items. And I see we have less number of attendees than in the participants list, so make sure to write your name. I'll share the link again. So first up on is a topic by me. So layer5.io build is failing. So currently on recent PRs, if we just see the build is failing, it's most probably due to this thing. So it needs an update over here. The bio needs a space and it should go under the double quotes. So if anyone wants to fix this, or I'll just quickly fix it after the call, because it's causing all the build preview in the PRs failing. So it's an urgent item.
Yeah, so this is a quick win for anybody that wants to grab a PR on their profile, I guess. With this particular file, there's a lack of a white space. And yeah.
Yep. Okay.
You can assign me if it's fine, or if any newcomer wants to, they can.
Yeah, you can make a PR directly. There is no open issue for that.
Okay.
Cool. So next up, we have a couple of updates on Meshmap pages by Shivam. So Shivam would like to take over.
So first update is that I updated the graphics to provide consistency. The color scheme that is being used. So this graphic is also been updated, and similarly this. And so this is the visualize page, Meshmap Visualize page, and I also added the radial opacity that was asked by Lee to help facilitate the gradient in the background. So this was the first update from me, and secondly, I opened a PR regarding addition of cytoscape to the Meshmap design page.
So Shivam, if I can, just back on that other page, are you tracking additional items to fix, to work on?
Here, yep, the items that we discussed, I worked on them. I don't have any other items right now to work on this page.
Okay, nice. Yeah, there's can you hover over the DVR real fast? I see. Yeah, it's getting closer. Anyway, there's still a bit of a discrepancy between the line in the nodes there versus the style that's used in the real-time performance metrics.
Yeah, actually, the spacing between the inside circle and the border, actually, Ritik is fixing that. I think he has fixed that, so I'll update that to this graphic as well.
Nice. All right. And then there's a white outline to the interactive terminal, which there isn't a white outline on any of the others. And so I wonder if that's, I wonder what it looks like if that wasn't added. I don't think it was there previously. Yeah, it's something to consider because again, like if they're going to be a set, just like making icons that like Sudhanshu and Ritik recently did, that all matters. Like that consistency matters. The other thing to do is maybe vertically center the 3 bullets. Like, is there some reason why they're in color? Because there's nothing else in color, outside of the 2 colors that are used. I don't know, it's the stuff to think about. Yeah.
Well, like it's describing a task, the status bar, I guess that's where
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. So why isn't there color on the service performance then? Or on the log stream or on the, like, it wouldn't have mattered what you'd said. It's just like, hey, look, the point of, it's like either they're all consistent and they're a set or they're not. Don't try to make them a set. And you're very, very, very close to making them a set. So if there's, it would be hard to have justification for why there's a separate color in the other one. It could be okay, then add color to the rest. If that makes sense, yeah. So back on the top, you're not tracking any other enhancements to this page?
No, right now I just added this radial opacity.
Cool. Can you write this down? This feedback down. It's the radial gradient here to try that out. Radial gradient with an opacity that's more opaque in the center, less opaque on the outer edges.
Yes,
So
because that refraction. Yeah.
Nice, cool. Okay, these are small, super tiny, small items. So that's great.
Yeah. And another was like the design, like also discussion about adding the cytoscape. So I was with the help of Gaurav, he assisted me like in adding the images to the cytoscape. But since, however, we need this to be more satisfactory as it is not currently like making much sense to the user, so that the user can have more functionality on the website, or they can be like shown better tips regarding this. So we need some feedback over this, so that how we can make this more interactive and how a better experience for the user.
I think what we can do is we can just make a Kubernetes node API service and drop it inside a parent of namespace. Would that work for now? And we can do like bunch of stuff over here using cytoscape libraries. I tried one with the drag and drop that we have, the custom one for layer 5.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, Gaurav, you're just saying, hey, to make it a bit more interesting, there could be a compound node, like a Kubernetes namespace with a couple of items inside and maybe a couple of items outside. So, and it's not like people would drag and drop, but it would just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So something that Shivam is contemplating, and he's asking for what you all think as well, and is what to do with this is, so users, site visitors come here and are, hopefully begin to digest the fact that this tool, Meshmap, it has this designer mode, and users of the tool can interact with this canvas and build out their infrastructure. Like, that's what we're trying to convey in that picture. Hopefully there's a picture is like 1,000 words. And so hopefully that starts to get conveyed. What Shivam is pointing out is like, while it's a novelty to be able to play with, a graphic on the web page, great, and that's good, and it's nice. It's a custom page that, but what he's pondering is what more. What do we? Is there something more that the visitor could take away? Is there something more that we could be conveying? We say underneath that users can experience context-aware design, and well, what is that? And outside of what that is, or in context of what that is that what we're experiencing right here? And so no, they're not experiencing that here. And that delivering that type of an experience, this context-aware design experience, is probably fairly difficult here, because we have to load up more plugins and okay, so maybe we would change the subtitle. Anyway, as you all think about that, and as Shivam maybe provides examples of what some of those types of context-aware designs are, one thing we might want to consider is, well, is it removing, if the border were removed here, and these elements felt more like they were just floating on the page. Well, they don't have to be free floating around, but I just mean, if it wasn't evident that there was a canvas and just the nodes were here, and and then when people rolled over them, they saw their mouse turn to a pointer or a grab hand, and it turns out they can move them. Like it would just have that same kind of novelty that it has right now. They wouldn't be able to do much other than just, I can move some stuff around the screen. Great. That's basically what's happening now. So I was just wondering, maybe in the meantime, until there's something much more meaningful thought through, if the canvas was eliminated, if the canvas had transparency as well, then you could take off the border, and that mesh map, that designer graphic, that diagonal graphic, it wouldn't be impacted by the canvas. And so something to think about. I think that hinges on whether or not you were able to do that, probably hinges on translucency of the background for the canvas.
Yeah, I have like demo video for that. I recorded, I guess, a couple of days back. So let me just quickly share that.
Wow, we had the same thought then, I guess.
Yeah, I recorded, I think, it on 19th March. Yeah, that's pretty old.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, this is yeah. Even though that's as far as it goes, people get the sense that, okay, there's some sophistication behind this. There's, some amount of, infrastructure complexity that they're able to represent. And that ultimately, one thing that we do want to do is allow people to upload their own Helm chart or import their own Kubernetes manifest and then have their manifest visualized. We're not quite ready for that, but I say that to set as the vision, because it's something to keep in mind as we move forth. So, Gaurav, of what you just shown, what are the challenges in bringing that, in styling that?
No, we can style that. There's no issue.
The canvas is
yeah, I removed the background and the other stuff.
How large is the canvas in this case? About the same size, or?
Yeah, about the same size. I just removed the border and the rest of the background is white or transparent. Yeah. And for the compound node, I'm using the package from the Lay 5 npm. So that works pretty well. Yeah, but since I'm just running it over the website, it just gave me like a couple of hiccups while just running it over here. So the Gatsby was giving me some kind of trouble. I have to build it again and again and clear cache. Yeah. Cool. Shivam, you have, I guess, next 2 items also. I'll stop sharing.
The next item was it was required on the website to add the links to the page. We added the links to the solutions link to the page to facilitate the direct approach to the design, visualize, and collaborate page. And this was the banner I created. And I guess Lee also added some text over here. I guess this can be merged with the addition of the comments by Lee.
Yeah, this looks good. Let's get it merged. Yeah.
That's all from my side.
Any more feedback or comments for Shivam before we move to next item?
A quick question of what the changes that you were just showing in the banner with that single, was it the single banner that, I'm sorry, the changes that you were showing in the mega menu, there's just a single banner or a single entry in that menu. Was that custom styling that you had, custom styling that you had to do, or was that an artifact of the fact that there was only one entry?
No, I had to create another. I had to write some code for that. I did not create a dedicated component, but I wrote it in the same file.
I see. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So which is to say that if there were 3 entries, that would need to be kind of custom styling as well.
No, actually, like I conditioned it in the sense like if there was no entry regarding the banners, then this custom the component that I wrote that would run, and if there were entries, then we would have the original thing running. But to answer your question, the original thing that is on the other items as well, on the project item, like there are 2 sections. It is only for 2 sections only. It is written for 2 sections particularly, not more than that.
Oh, thank you, Shivam. So next up we have a topic from Udit, but Udit is not with us today. So I'll just quickly open his PR and check out for leftover items. So, okay, it's merged.
Actually, there was an issue with the scrolling on the Meshmap pages, but now Udit has solved this issue, so I merged his PR. I discussed this issue with me. Like the section stopped in the middle of the page and started scrolling without the whole section coming into view. So now that has been solved with this PR.
Oh, cool. That's wonderful. So next up we have an update from Avi. So do we have Avi? Nope. So we'll again visit his PR quickly. Pop out card carousel. So yeah, Shivam, you want to?
Yeah, I just gave him some feedback, and actually, I was going to merge this PR, but since the build was failing, so I did not merge this. So I guess after that I can merge this, but we'll publish it when we have like some of the changes that we will make, like regarding the grids. We can publish it after that, and yeah, that's all regarding it.
Great. So again, an update on Meshmap carousel page, mobile carousel page by Shrawani.
Yeah, same goes for Shrawani's PR as well. The same feedback we had for her, and I'll get this merged, and after the content we can publish.
Okay, cool. So you are taking over this PR then, okay? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Sudhanshu, we are up on your topic. Okay, Sudhanshu is also not with us today. So he's working on Meshmap collaboration page section. I'll just quickly share. So again, yeah, Shivam, it's on your plate. So would like to offer a quick thing.
Yeah, I have provided some feedback to Sudhanshu, but I talked to him also. I guess he was working on some issues on the Meshmap cloud. So he didn't have time to work on this. So yeah, he said that he'll be providing some commits in coming days. After that, yeah, I'll be updated.
Okay, cool. We'll catch up with Sudhanshu over Slack. So next up we have a topic from Randy on dark mode fix. So we had this issue since couple of months. So Randy, would like to share your screen?
Sure. Let's see. So sorry, this is can everyone see the screen here?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not sure what details you'd like about this, but
Yeah.
there was a flickering mode for if someone chose the dark mode and then they refreshed the page, they would see a brief flash of the light mode, and then it would correctly change back to dark mode. And so what we had to do was have the browser load a CSS variable version of the themes, and we would populate those variables before the site would load, and it would temporarily grab those variables and display the correct version until the React would render. This was all a little mind-bending for me, this little period of time between Gatsby, React, and the browser all loading at once. So even when I try to explain it, I still get lost in it at times. But so I don't know if I can demonstrate. So here's the light mode, and then go to dark mode, and then we reload. And so as you can see, there's no flash. And if we look at the dev console in the elements, you can see that all these CSS variables are from a injected script show up in the root style, and that's where we're using that CSS variable version of the theme to temporarily grab this while we wait for React to re-render, I believe that they said. At least there's a lot of reading involved and other looking at other blogs on how this is all working. So yeah, so then that was the solution, and we while we were doing this, it allowed us some code consolidation, I guess you'd say, where we would be able to take the navigation and take certain elements and put them into one place without having to have repeated on each page. And there are actually some further optimizations available, but I didn't want to, this has started getting out of control. So I tried to try to keep it as small as possible, but there are some other things where we can actually move the layout into Gatsby's wrapped page element, and then layout can be rendered there without having it rendered on each page. And also the navigation won't have to re-render with each page load. It will stay mounted the whole time, that component throughout the whole user experience. Okay, I'll stop sharing here.
No, yeah, that for that last part, Nikhil, is that last bit for the mega menu, the nav bar to be mounted and span page refreshes and page while navigating to new pages? Would we need another component to support that?
No, it's not about having another component. It's just about how we are injecting the wrapper component around Gatsby. That's the main reason. The other, like, the thing is, Gatsby is server-side rendered, so we need to inject scripts before it has to be, when it executes on the server and when it executes on the client. So for executing it for the script to be executed on the server, the on-render body basically injects the script in a stringified way, so that when the site is built on the server, it takes it as a string, and when it renders on the user's browser, it passes a string into a script code and executes on the client side. And coming to the context wrapper, it basically just wraps out the theme provider that we use to pass on the theme context to the child components that we have. That's the only reason. There are a couple of more components than what we have. It's not necessary for the navigation. The navigation is just that we have shifted it from individual pages to the base layout component that we're using in all the pages.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice. I mean, yeah, that's nice. That's a nice side effect of the focus here. Another question: Do you envision? So Ayush Sharma, who's not on the call, and we'll have to go shake him down, but so he's been working through a number of different performance and accessibility and other sort of audits that have been that are run through the tool Lighthouse. I wonder, as we go to inject this stringified light mode and dark mode, the core CSS for the site, into the very first element that's loaded. Do you think that we'll? I suppose other
performance set. I think you are talking about if there could be any performance set also.
Yeah,
I doubt there should be any case, because I checked the performance a couple of days back, and it was still fine. Like in mobile view, we were still getting around 70 or so. So I don't think there's much of it. At max, there might be 1.1 or 2% here there, because there is a bit of extra load happening on the initial render. That is some extra computation happening, but that is negligible, is what I would say, compared to the flash that we get.
Right. Yep. Yeah. While there might be the performance question, to your point, maybe less of a performance concern, but maybe I guess I'd wondered if there would be a different test that they were to run that says that, I don't know, your metadata is too large, or you're overloading some area or something like it. But at least I guess we wouldn't necessarily see that until this PR emerges, and then we'll have the tests running against it. But
we can still have the test on the deploy preview links that we get. So this test result that you are getting on the browser, that is much deviated from what we get on the actual hosted site. This I've noticed a couple of times when we are testing out the older changes, when we had for some enhancement for that library, that integrations library that we're using. So yeah, there are differences. So I just now tested it on PSP.dev, and for mobile view it is 77. For desktop it is 98.
Wow, that's such a dramatic difference. That's great. Yeah, I can't believe it. Yeah.
So it's still fine. There are issues with some images that are there, but that I think is from beforehand. It's not related to this year. Like the complaints that PSP were giving earlier as well, that is unrelated to this year. So we are fine with that.
Oh man, I doubt that Randy's old enough to remember G.I. Joe, a little G.I. Joe action figure, but like Dr. Mindbender. Dr. Mindbender was one of the Cobras, one of the bad guys.
Yeah, I remember the Pentor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, all right. Very good. Yeah. Oh man.
I'm
Anyway.
an older career changer. So.
Oh, all right. Well, fair enough. Well, good. But yeah, no, I was just thinking about the mind. Mind bending is what you'd said, and so yeah, what is it, Dr. Mindbender with the monocle glass eye, the whole like Just Mindbender Randy. Okay. All right. Randy.
Just a side note, Nikhil also mentioned this with, and you notice that there's all that text, the stringified version is quite large. That's because there are a lot of different hex codes being used for certain colors. I think when there was styling done, there were, everyone's sort of were using the same green colors, but when it came to using gray, there were probably 30 shades of gray being used for different transitions. So just as a cleanup for later on that Nikhil mentioned, that we can reduce that a lot by consolidating those grays into one hex code color. For example, like the dark gray that was being used, I saw 15 different ones, but so I didn't, in this PR, I didn't change any of the, I didn't want to make any assumptions about the colors or anything, and I didn't change any of them or consolidate them. And so we had to build the transition for each code, hex code to the other hex code from light theme to dark theme. And that's what makes it quite large. And so if there's a decision to consolidate those down into, 6 sets, 6 gray colors to be used throughout the site, then that'll also reduce that down a bit.
That's a great point. Yeah, for no issue there, or that's only a positive thing. I mean, not only for performance of in this area, but also actually just in general of maintaining the site and people trying to figure out what gray they should use. And that'd be a great follow-on item. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
With that said, so I think once this PR is merged, maybe we can have it for a couple of days or so, and then probably we could switch to default dark mode as well. Considering we are away from the flickering effect that we are seeing, we could probably switch to the default dark mode as well for the same.
Man, I was kidding earlier when I said Randy hit the jackpot, but like this really is the jackpot. I mean, like, wow. So if with this fix, it sounds like that was our last standing blocker to switching the site to be dark mode by default. Wow. Okay. Randy, Dr. Mindbender, my hero, Lau. Okay, is that the that's great. Okay. Anybody else have feedback or thoughts? I am a little bit, that's wonderful. I'm a little bit weary about some of the things that we might have overlooked in dark mode. They tend to go unnoticed a little bit, but I suppose we would just fix those as we go. Yeah. Wow. So we only have one site right now that's, I think, by default dark mode, or is it? Yeah, it's just one site, the Meshry doc site. But this one could go, Meshry.io could potentially go. That's great. Anybody else have questions about how this was done? To get kind of a novel solution. And also kind of to Randy's point, like the more colors that are used, or the more like the larger the larger that stringified CSS needs to be, kind of the more of a pain in the rump it is, just to leaving performance and other things aside. There's just more things to get like track there.
I just wanted to note that a lot of the credit for the code goes to Josh Cormu. He was blogging about this, and somebody else's plugin that they created for Gatsby and style components. I was trying to just use the the plugin itself, but there were some complications with its implementation and its compatibility. And so what I tried to do is extract the code and sort of adapt it into the site. So that it's, this is just wanted to note that it's not my solution. It's definitely a solution that was done by others, and I was simply trying to adapt it to make it compatible with the requirements of the site and what we have.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's good of you to call that out. Yeah, it's hey, speaking of blogs like that, there's this is for everybody on the call. There's a Layer 5.io blog. There's a Meshery.io blog. These are open venues to each of you who might want to share on what you've done here, or if you have a relevant topic. There's places that you might want to put some words on paper. So just food for thought. Nice. Anybody else have feedback for Randy? Yeah. Wow, most people show up for the first time just being a fly on the wall. Here comes Randy changing the whole site from light to dark. Okay. All right. Okay, that sets quite the precedent.
That's great. Thank you, Randy. So next up we have a topic from Hiren. I don't think he's on the call, so we'll just quickly go over his PR. So this one is fixed and merged, so we don't need to go over it again. So next up we have a topic from Divyangi. So Divyangi, would like to share your screen?
Is it visible?
Yep, it is.
Actually, yeah. This issue was solved, but the entire problem arose while signing it, and there were a lot of commits which arose because of that. And Nikhil had suggested me to basically reset the head and then force push. But after that, my laptop, the one which had everything like the Git setup entirely, I had to just give it to the customer center because of
Divyangi, if you could just discuss about what this PR is doing, on what issue you are working.
Yeah, sure. Actually, there was this issue of horizontal scroll in mobile devices, and it was not able to do it. And apart from that, it was also having the issue of the table at the end, the ledger. So just let me show you 1 second. So I had also solved this one because it was it has to be left aligned, right? And it was, I don't know why, but it was getting right aligned. And I had fixed this one as well. So the only issue is just as I'll get it, I'll just do as per what Nicholas said.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Any comment for Divyangi?
Yeah.
Cool, I'll take that as no. Okay. So next up we have an update on docs.mesh.io by Senali. And yeah, Senali is not here with us. So we'll just quickly go over her PR.
Yeah, I wonder Vivek might be able to speak to it on her behalf.
Hello.
Yep, Vivek, we can hear you.
Yes, about Sonali's PR, I may not be able to discuss much, but I see we have some time left, so maybe we can talk about mine. I mean, some changes I did today. So if I can go ahead.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that'd be great. It's very related. I think your changes.
Yeah, sure. Take over the screen, Vishal.
Okay. Is my screen visible to all?
No, not yet.
Advanced. Now is it?
Yeah, we can.
So Lee just added in the REST API docs, Lee just added this details and summary. and light mode support was needed here. So this is what it looks like in light mode. Is it good, Lee?
Oh, it looks great. What you've done looks great. Actually, what I've done though, I don't know, looks great. Actually, thanks for sharing this. This is, I think, a really nice question for Noreen and for Vivek and everybody else on the call. Everybody else on the call. This is one of the other sites. This is a Jekyll-based site. It's the Meshry documentation. Meshry documentation. The content of it needs an overhaul. Like the structure, the information architecture of the site there's a lot to be done to the docs, but I wanted to ask all of you to consider this for a moment. This being this expandable, collapsible, component. Component is the wrong word, but if you were to expand authentication, Vivek, okay, there's some info. If you were to do that maybe to the other two, I think one of them might have a picture, maybe. Okay, so there's a picture in there, and there's a code there's a code snippet there, and that looks like that still works. Great. And then, yeah, we go into dark mode. Do you know why? Yeah. Did you turn on dark mode just then, or did it just flicker?
Yes. No. I just did that. In fact, there was a flickering here too, but I happened to solve that in my last PR when I changed the docs to default dark mode. Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I thought we were gonna have to call in the big guns, call in Randy over here and get something done. Just anyway, there's
I had another stuff to discuss here. Like you said to discuss endpoints by path lookup.
Yeah, Vivek. Sorry, man. I was taking a long time to ask my question, which is that for everyone else other than Vivek, what do you think of this expand to collapse thing? Like there are many pages within that is hideous, by the way, Vivek, the green and the black, that massive. It is, I know it's weird to think, but it is actually possible to have too much green, and that's what's happening down below. Anyway, so my question to everyone is the expand collapse up above. Vivek, if you could just hang out on. Oh, nice. There's a lot of information on each page. Some of the information is not necessary to display in full detail to the site visitor. This particular, the HTML behind this interactive expand collapse, it's just HTML5. It's just the details tag and the summary tag. And for me, those are kind of new. The details and summary tag are just styled such that they can expand and collapse. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of information across a lot of pages. Not all information needs to be fully displayed to the reader until they want to see it all, so that the page is, overall palatable to them and digestible, that they can just in time see certain details on the page. This type of an interaction, this UX paradigm of expanding and collapsing, a summary and details, is something that we need pervasive across the site. So the contributing guide for Meshry docs needs to include directions for all of us on how to, or what to do when we want to hide some info. And I'm not convinced that this is the right way to go about it or not. Wanted to ask for some thoughts. It's quite simple that it uses the built-in HTML tags, details and summary, but and there can be some additional styling added, like padding around the image and the screenshot and things like that.
I had one suggestion, if it's fine, please. Yeah. So I feel like the buttons look a bit too fat. Like they can be made a bit sleek, and they can be made into a color like green, so that when not exactly very much dark green, just like the buttons that are in the end, it can be made to a fader version, a little fade than that, and because it will look nice during the dark mode. And the extra the border we have around authentication, Meshri UI, etc. So that is making it look a bit bulky. If we can just have it just the size of authentication, that can look nice, if that sounds great. So like you can incorporate it.
Yeah, Noreen has some feedback, and I'll say that Divyangi, the additional margin around the authentication, that's on accident. And so, yeah, you're right. That was unintended. So that's great feedback then. And yeah, Noreen, over to you.
Hi. Actually, I'm thinking that if it's like the list is like Meshri UI and Meshri CLI, they are numbered, but then we have two buttons below it, and I feel it's repetitive. So maybe they need to go, like if Meshri UI, we need to choose one of them. Like maybe we can have a list, or we can have the in form of buttons or summary buttons, something like that. So I'm just.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It would be a losing argument to argue against what you just said. Totally.
I'm just saying that, it's there are two ways. Like one is like number one in the list form, and then we have buttons below them. Maybe they can go under each other, or maybe we don't need the one in numbered form. We don't need that. And also, though I couldn't manage to learn Jekyll yet, but while I was learning, I noticed some mistakes on documentation. So there was if there is a logical, like in contribution guide, it was like if there is an if condition, like these shoes are nice, the result should, and if condition is true, the result should be how are you? That was on the list, but it was supposed to be, I think it should be the output should be these shoes are nice instead of how are you.
Just to repeat a couple of things that Noreen said very briefly, as we consider the potential use of details and summary here, it would be great to do a test to see if these could be numbered, like automatically using list items, just like the list items above. That was one of her points. Another point was that we're duplicatively listing out the same thing twice. So that's another great point. And then actually to Noreen's, I think like her third point, I think this is helpful for everyone. I'm going to try to explain something, and then I'm going to probably overcomplicate it. To Noreen's point about Gatsby or Jekyll or whatever framework is being used underneath to help build the static site content, if we ignore what that is for a moment and just go to edit the content, relatively directly, Vivek, if you don't mind clicking on the edit this page link, each page or that link is specific to each page. So it will take you to, and it's opened in here, to the specific, this will take you to GitHub, to the specific page that you're looking at. And while any number of us might not be familiar with Jekyll, it is the case that you can click edit here and be relatively comfortable changing any number of things within the page. And you can you can kind of get to some contributions relatively quickly through the web UI. That used to not be the case up until about 6 to 9 months ago. GitHub for the longest time wouldn't support commit signing. through their web UI, which was kind of ridiculous because you have to be logged in and authenticated to do those things anyway. So anyway, they finally added that feature. So there's nothing holding any of you back to be able to use the web UI if it's convenient for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, one other thing, I think if you were sitting right here, if you were to hit period on your keyboard, you might find that a web-based VS Code loads. So yeah, next time you're on one of the repos, try hit period, see what happens. But yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Vivek. So we are on time today. So Lee would like to make a call for this.
It's just
I'll
kind
open
of
the site.
Just kind of an open question. Well, I think there's two questions on Meshry.io. There's a malaligned menu, mobile menu, that we've really struggled with as a community. Many people have come to work on the mobile menu for Meshry.io, and many people have, I think, learned a great deal from their time spent there, but no one has actually finally fixed it. If you were to reduce the width of your browser, I wonder if we were to get the mobile menu. I think what's currently happening on the mobile menu at the very top is just a misalignment, a vertical misalignment where the word menu and the hamburger and kind of the padding of the, there's a couple of issues here that I wanted to highly call out because it's prominent enough that it probably doesn't inspire people that the project is of high quality if the menu is like that. So
yeah, we
something
need an urgent fix for that.
Hello, I wanted to add something here. Like, if you have your Jekyll running locally, and if you go to this your local host 127, whatever it is, so the menu, it doesn't show up there in local environment. So that's why it's taking so much long to fix this.
Huh. The word menu doesn't show up?
The menu, yes, the menu word.
Okay, but the hamburger shows up and the menu itself.
Yes, I think
loads.
the hamburger shows up, but the menu does not.
The word menu, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, cool. We need to figure that out. Okay. Yeah, and
Cool. And then just lastly, I ended up speaking so much on this call. I feel guilty today, but just as a last item, Nikhil and many of you have worked on the Meshry playground in various capacities. Some of you working on Meshry, some of you working on this site. And I wonder if what's on this page conveys what it's supposed to. Is it complete and are we done? Or is there something else that we should be conveying here? I think, if we are able to make this, really the CNCF playground, well, we would want to get a blog post out on cncf.io. And so we would probably link to that here. What else would we do? We probably have a webinar or two we probably have an event or two in which we share about what this is. And so we probably put the recordings here, I suppose. But just before we forget about the site, I just wanted to ask that. It was a different site based on Gatsby because we had considered that it might actually have quite a bit more at some point. And it still may. We still have thoughts of certifications or other learning paths. They're floating around our mind. There are learning paths on layer 5 IO specific to service mesh, but as we go to open this up for all of the CNCF projects, I wonder if it would behoove us to invite some of those other projects to add to the learning path. And maybe that would be here. I'm just kind of randomly thinking out loud, wondering if we're done here. I guess Nikhil isn't on, so he might have had some thoughts. For everybody else, when you visit the page, you get a sense of what it's supposed to do or what it's about? Playground. There's a fresh deployment of the playground that's being worked on a couple of bare metal systems inside of the CNCF labs. That'll be nice when we get there because that'll open up the other half of the playground, the visualize portion. So, by the way, if any of you are into video editing, like with Adobe After Effects or Premiere, the 1 minute video that's here needs to be extended, or there needs to be a second one. So it's another area of need. Anyway, good. That was it for me.
Yeah, cool. And if you haven't signed up for the playground yet, go sign up for the playground. I'll share the link in chat. Cool. So we had a great call today. So yeah, thank you all for joining today's website meeting. We'll meet you next week, same time, same place. Bye all.
Bye, Gaurav. Thanks, Gaurav.
Bye.